Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the leading daily social enterprise business show in RVA. I'm your host, Mike King, and I appreciate you being here with me. The views expressed here are mine, have no connection to, support of, or agreement with any of the hosts, information, or ads on the station. I don't work for the station. My program just airs here on a daily basis, and I'm appreciative of that to bring the information to you. Join me as this cutting-edge show uplifts the community and showcases RVA in a different way. The sounds you're listening to are emanating from the Mike King Biz studio, which is the global epicenter of social enterprise business. Joining us today, as always, is the super producer, the man on the wheels of steel, Al Green, and we can be reached by calling 804-778-8888. On the Mic with Mike highlights partnerships, people, social enterprise business, organizations, as well as issues of the day. And yes, we do tackle some issues of the day every so often. To get more information about the program, you can go to our Facebook page, which is On the Mic with Mike. Please go there, take a look. We have past shows and some great information. We'd like to thank our show sponsor, Tom Childrey, the credit card guy. If you have merchant service issues, Tom is the man. He can help you out with that. He's been doing it a long time, and he's very good at it. He also does a lot of work in the community. Tom Childrey, the credit card guy, can be reached by calling 804-503-8472. Along the way, we have to pay bills. The microphone isn't free, plus my grandkids do need stuff. And so support our advertisers and sponsors as they keep us on the air. And they have some great products and services. Ladies and gentlemen, this program, we bring you the best and brightest. Today is an action-packed show. I always say we do bring you the best and brightest. Okay, we got the driving force behind the hit documentary that's just about to drop. It's called Heard. So we have David Powers and Angie who are here with us today to talk about what they are with Belltower Pictures. Heard talks about, well, I'm going to let them tell you about what it is. Because it's, I don't want to do it. I want them to do justice. After that, we have Tom Childrey, the credit card guy, with the terrific Top of Mind Topic Tuesday. And Tom is going to be talking about pertinent subjects to help you with your business. We're going to follow that up with award-winning Grammy artist Speech, the lead singer for Arrested Development. During that time, we will also, Sandra Wilson of Black Connections will come in and she'll host with that, and we'll talk to him about the incredible things that he's doing, new music, community activism. And he's also a filmmaker. He made a film called 16 Bars that was done here. So, and then we're going to follow that up with Katina Moss. She is here with, it's like Katina Moss and Friends. She has a friend who's going to come with her Lysette who has, what are they called? It's Damsels in Defense. Okay, so we, buckle up, folks. This is going to be a good one. The program is going to move fast. We'd like to welcome to the program David and Angie. Welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Okay, there's been a lot of buzz. Let folks know about Belltower Pictures and how we get to Heard.
Well, Belltower Pictures is a non-profit production company based here in Richmond. And Belltower also has another film that came out in 2016 by the grace of Bob. And Heard is the first documentary through Belltower Pictures. Belltower's president is David Powers.
David Powers. Now, sir, when you told me the story, I was in shock. And that was months ago when I heard about it. And ever since then, everyone just talks about Belltower Pictures, and the buzz in the street is about Heard. Let people know your journey and how you get to a documentary that's as powerful as Heard.
Well, I was working on another project, and I needed some B-roll, some footage of low-income housing. And so I drove into Gilpin Court because I had heard about it, and I had never been there. And it's right off I-95. I'd driven past it on I-95 for 30 years, but never had turned right to drive into Gilpin Court. So I drove in there with my camera, and something just kind of hit me. Now, part of it was my mindset, because this was during a time that there had been a lot of murders. There are consistently murders and violence in those communities, but this particular summer had been pretty devastating. So I had that in the back of my mind, and it just felt, you drive in there and you see some of the boarded up apartments and the blue tarps on top of the buildings, and you think, my goodness, why is it like this? How did we get here? And why are we still here? And so that, as a storyteller, that just kind of piqued my interest to find out more. And so I started talking to people, reading books, doing research to find out, and discovered, there's some good books, there's some good documentaries on the public housing issues, but I couldn't find anything that really let the people who live in those communities tell their stories.
Are you a storyteller at heart?
Well, I hope so. It sounds a little presumptuous to say
People
that.
tell me that you are.
Well, it sounds a little presumptuous for me to say that, but that lights my light bulb. Yeah, I enjoy doing that.
So are these are feel good? So Belltower is based on what?
Well,
As an organization.
we want to tell compelling stories that make a positive difference in the world. We also want to bring together people from diverse backgrounds to work on projects that are meaningful, that make a difference. And we want to give opportunities to young, upcoming filmmakers to
I
get
see.
a leg up.
Shout out to Will Roy. I know
Oh, yeah.
he thinks the
Will
world.
helped out.
He thinks the world of you guys, and he's the first videographer I'd worked with when I came to Richmond.
Well, Will is a quality guy in a lot of different areas, and he also worked on this film. He shot some
He
of the
told me.
footage. Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so Angie, how are you involved in? Could you scoot just a little? So how are you involved in the project?
Well, I'm the associate producer on the documentary, and
What does that mean to folks?
what does that mean? Well,
Because when the credits run, people stand up and leave. Only the people who stay are concerned are people who are associated with that.
and their
And
mothers.
their parents, their mom and daddy, and their friends. Al Green is waving his hand
There you
saying
go.
yes.
There you
Well,
go.
let me jump in and say that you don't want to leave when the credits start rolling on this film, because the crux of the film, the highlight of the film, takes place while the credits are rolling.
Yes.
See,
It's important to watch.
that's in the media, that's when you're burying the lead, but you did it for a reason.
That's right. Keep them around.
You keep them around. That's true.
So in my role, I can speak in the context of the documentary. My role was to, one, help with finding the people who would ultimately be participating in the documentary, and also doing a lot of outreach to groups around the country, nonprofits, et cetera, who ultimately would connect with the stories in the documentary. But we were working fairly hard for several months, trying to make the right connections, find the right people who would be willing to share their stories, because this is a very involved process, and it's not an easy thing to open your life up to people to follow and then edit over the course of several months.
So how do you guys go from being concerned, wanting to tell a story, and go from being outsiders to people opening up and telling you their story?
Well, a slow, steady process. I think one of the things we discovered in trying to meet and connect with people who live in the public housing communities is they've been told a lot of lines over a lot of years, and they have a healthy, exceptionally well justified skepticism of
Yes.
people coming in
Okay.
to say, I want to help, or to say, I want to tell your story, or whatever, because they've heard it all and they've been through it all. And so, as I said, well justified skepticism. So what we had to do was take it slowly and be introduced to folks by folks that they trusted, and then prove ourselves to say that, we're not coming into this with an agenda. We're not trying to raise money for ourselves or any organization. We're not trying to push any legislation or anything like that. We want to just turn the mic on and hold the platform steady so you can tell your story. Mm-hmm. And as we work with people we shot this thing over a period of a year. And so we've been working with the folks who are in the film for a long time, and I think some of them may have opened up and kind of trusted us right off the bat because of I don't know, because of our good looks, I guess, or whatever. But others were a little reticent and took a little longer to trust us. But I think as they saw that we were telling the truth, we were shooting straight, we weren't asking leading questions, I think they came to trust us, and I hope so, because when we showed them the film, that was the most nervous any of us had been. Martin Montgomery, our director of photography and our editor and director, and I talked, and we said, we're going to show it to a lot of people, but this is the one we're most nervous about, because we want to make sure that the folks whose stories we're sharing feel like we did that with integrity. And it was a very rewarding experience. I think they did feel that way. So.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voices you're listening to, Angie Kane, David Powers of Belltower Pictures with their incredible video documentary, Heard. So give people an idea of the journey of Heard and some of the people who were involved in it.
Well, we started, I guess, in 2017 doing the research, trying to connect with people. We started raising some money to do it because.
Now, see, this is a business show. We needed to get to that right there.
Well,
how do you what's that process? You have an idea. You guys have a great idea. How do you get an idea made?
Well, with great trouble and a lot of time. Our first film that we did, we raised all the money for it. We're a nonprofit, 501c3, so people can make tax-deductible contributions. So we raised all the money for that one, and so we went into this thinking that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to raise a pile of money to do this documentary. So we started raising money and started working on development and research. And we learned that VPM was interested in helping to bring to life documentaries that made a difference. And so we had a conversation with VPM, and lo and behold, they were interested in helping to do this. And conversations with them started, I think, in November, and we finally signed a contract with them in August, so it wasn't a quick process, but they came on board and provided the bulk of the production, well, all of the production funding. And Belltower Pictures raised money from donors to do the development phase, and then the back end, a lot of the stuff that Angie's been working on, the audience engagement. So that's just been, nonprofit fundraising, trying to get people to buy into what we're trying to do.
I want to give a couple of shout-outs here. Shout out to VPM. Jamie Swain had been in before telling their incredible story and the power of VPM. And also, our guy, Craig Martin. He just gave a shout-out on Facebook. He says it's a great film. A guy who knows great films and great pictures and video and work is Craig Martin.
He is no slouch filmmaker.
No, he's very good. So shout out to Craig Martin.
Yes, sir.
Who's
thank
out
you,
there.
Craig.
The Good Road TV for folks, make sure you guys check it out. The time is 1:20. The program is On the Mic with Mike. We're here with you daily, 1 to 3 p.m., WJFN Radio, 100.3, Al, 100.5, 92.7, 820 a.m. I'm your host, Mike King. This is the place where the game changers come to talk. Today is action-packed. We have Tom Childrey with the top of mind, tenacious topic. We have speech from Arrested Development, and we have Katina Moss coming up. Sandra Wilson from Black Connections is going to be in as well. Folks, got a lot going on today, but we start off with the best here, and it is the documentary Heard. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Tom Childrey, the credit card guy with Beyond. I believe it should not be confusing or expensive for your business to accept credit cards. As a social enterprise business advocate, my mission gets you paid faster with fair rates, helping your business grow. We can be contacted at area code 804-503-8472, 804-503-8472, or at getbeyond.com. Again, I'm Tom Childrey, the credit card guy. Quick, easy collect. We make it easier than you expect.
Hi everyone, it's Pavi Leitner, the CEO and founder of FinLit and your family's certified financial educator, dedicated to the financial success of you and your family. Are you not sure where to start with your finances? Or are you looking to sign your middle schooler up for our virtual camp? Book us at www.finlitva.com. That is www.finlitva.com. FinLit is creating a money-conscious community.
Chris Ship here with Focus Floors, and we are offering a free upgrade in any Bona water-based poly for any job that gets put on our schedule. You can reach us at focushardwoodflooring.com or just check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook, Focus Floors 804, Instagram 80 Floors. Thank you.
Hi, Chef Michelle here of Mama Michelle Cafe, home of the Soul Rolls, located at 10811 Whole Street Road. Give us a call at 804-912-1644 or order online at mamachells.com. Ask about our off-site catering options as well as our online ordering through Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. Follow us on all social media at Mama Michelle's Cafe. That's Mama Michelle's, Soul south of the James. Mention Mike on the mic and get a free dessert on us. Special rules apply.
Are you tired of dating online? Bloom Matchmaking offers a safe and effective alternative. Every match is vetted and background checked. Bloom Matchmaking offers a personalized experience just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-205-5063. Let Bloom take the stress out of dating. Mention On the Mic with Mike and receive 20% off. That number again is 804-205-5063. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Mike King isn't a businessman, he's a businessman with his own talk show, On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program in the game.
Alright, so you just have too much fun. Al has to pull me back sometimes. Don't be too funny. Mm-hmm. Welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier social business enterprise show in the area. I'm Mike King, your host. David Powers, Angie Kane here with the documentary Heard. So they were getting ready to tell me some stories. You're like, hey, we just can't tell you those stories. So you have the documentary, and you have mini documentaries that come out of that, so everybody gets their moment to shine.
Yeah.
Essentially, but in the making of the documentary, obviously, like David alluded to, it took time to get people to trust us.
Yes.
For good reason. There were plenty of stories of people coming in to the different communities, getting what they needed out of them, and then taking off. So we were considered media, and which seemed odd to us because it didn't feel like we were
Filmmakers don't feel
media.
like media.
Yeah, and so we were met with a lot of skepticism, in some cases a bit of tense skepticism. We met with all sorts of people who were in the position to maybe give referrals and introduce us to some of the residents of the communities who would be interested. But they were reluctant to deal with us because they didn't know what our angle was going to be and ultimately what people were going to get out of it for investing all of their time and energy. So it took a while, and then eventually we were able to establish connections with different nonprofits, and they were really the gateway to connecting with the people that ultimately we were able to work with in the documentary.
At what point did you stop feeling like an outsider to people opened up to you? Was there one specific time?
I don't know that there was one specific time. I think it's been like kind of growing friendships. You know, I didn't know, well, none of us on the filmmaking team knew any of the folks that are featured in the film before we started down this road. And over the period of the last 2 years, they've become friends. I mean, we talk, we text, we are on Facebook friends together. It's just been kind of one of those, you can't mark a point. Maybe you can mark a point when you met somebody, but when did that person become your friend and begin to trust you? I can't put my finger on it, but I can tell you I think we're there now, at least from my side, we are.
So give us details on the film, when people can see it, where people can find it, and all of the details that are important to folks.
Well, as of Thursday at 9 p.m., people will be able to watch it on VPM PBS, on their PBS station here in Central Virginia. they'll also be able to watch it on VPM's Facebook Live as well. And there's a special Heard page on vpm.org where people can also watch Heard for free for 60 days as of November 12th. So I think that brings us to about January 10th. So there are lots of different opportunities to watch Heard, to spread the word. People from all over can watch it as of Thursday.
The buzz has been incredible. The buzz, and as filmmakers and people putting things out there, you want the buzz to be incredible. What's next for Belltower Pictures?
Well, we're working on another documentary. One of the big issues that we face in Richmond, well, everywhere, is eviction.
So Richmond is, what is it, one of the top places in the country?
Number two.
Second.
Number two in the
highest.
country.
Okay, you guys are tackling that.
Well, we're playing footsie with it right now. We're just starting because our hands have been full trying to finish this film up. But we recognize that there's some stories to be told there, and some stories that you don't really think about, like stories of the sheriff's deputy who has to go out and put somebody out of their home. The story of a judge who has to sit in a place where he's got to make a decision that affects a lot of people's lives. The stories of some of the landlords. You think of the big ogre bad guy landlords, and there are some of those, no question about that. But there's some other folks who are struggling to make ends meet, and the way they make their living is by owning rental property, and they don't want to throw people out on the street. And so there are a lot of stories, and of course the people who are going through the trauma of eviction, don't want to overlook that. So we thought, well, can we find some of those stories, and let's point the camera in those directions and see what kind of stories we can discover. So we're in the research and development phase of that right now, but hope to be able to start on that documentary first quarter of next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what this program is all about. That's what it is. Seeing something and shining a light on it. This is coming from the heart of filmmakers and documentarians. It just says something about, you go from one issue to the next one, because people don't know that process. Like you said, they're not looking at it from the angle of the judge or the sheriff. That day, he puts his uniform on. We always think about all the other things that they do, but on that day, they're going to go there and put somebody out on the street.
Yeah, we think about issues, and if you think about things in the sterile world of issues, you don't have to get emotionally involved. It gives you an excuse not to do anything or care anything, because those are issues. But when you think about turning issues into people, now that's another matter. You think about public housing. Well, that's an issue. And we could go down the list of all the issues. But let's think about a couple of thousand people, families who live in public housing. What's their story? These are flesh and blood people who have needs and hopes and desires and children and grandchildren, just like everybody else. Let's listen to the stories. And once you hear the stories, it's hard to turn your back and to not think about it and to not feel invested, because you know these people. So our goal in Heard, and our goal, Lord willing, if we're able to pull off the doc on eviction, will be, I feel like I know those people. I feel like I can sit down and have a conversation with them, and I know a little bit more now that I had no idea about before.
Okay. I'm sold. You had me at hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the brain trust behind Heard. One last time, how can people find you?
Well, the Belltower Pictures site, belltowerpictures.com, information and links on there, and then the documentary airs Thursday night at 9 on VPN, Channel 23 in Richmond area, Central Virginia. Also be streaming live at the same time on Facebook Live, YouTube, on the PBS app, and on vpm.org/Heard. And you can watch it through January on that site.
I want a grown-up program like you guys. Just go down the list of all the places that you can find them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank them for coming in. On the other side, we had Tom Childrey. He'll be here with the tenacious top-of-mind topic. I'd like to thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Do you want a crystal clear picture of your finances? Dial 804-601-0532 and schedule your free financial review with Crystal Clear Financial Solutions. Find us online at crystalclearfinancialsolutions.com.
Welcome to the SBA Weekly Business Tip. I'm Martin Short with the U.S. Small Business Administration, Virginia Richmond District Office. If you want to retain complete control of your business but don't have enough funds to start, consider a business loan. To increase your chance of securing a loan, have a business plan, expense sheet, and financial projections for the next 5 years. Once you're prepared, contact banks and credit unions. Compare rates and offers to get the best terms. To learn more, visit us at sba.gov/VA. We're here to help you start, grow, expand, or recover.
Mike King here, host of On the Mic with Mike.
And I'm Paula, the host of Modern Love.
You can find us together 1:30 on Fridays as
We talk about all things love. We talk about how modern matchmaking works. We talk about getting into a healthy, real relationship.
Stop swiping left and right and learn how to find love in all the right places. Paula Pardell, Modern Love Friday, exclusively on the Mic with Mike, and only heard here on WJFN 92.7 and 100.5 FM.
Hi, my name is Daquan Woodbury, also known as Chef DQ. The restaurant industry is going through a hard time right now. With COVID-19, a lot of things are going on. Restaurants are shutting down. They might have to even close their doors for good. In the past few months, we've seen how life can change dramatically in a blink of an eye. Fortunately, I've created a system, a proven system, that allows restaurants to stay successful in this new way of life. As the owner of RVA Cafe, I would love to help you through these challenging times. Go to redindigofood.com for more information.
Thank you, attorneys Justin Lauder and Chris Gatewood at Threshold Counsel PC for sponsoring this program. They offer startup, business, and intellectual property services for innovative and growing organizations. You can find them online at threshold.cc.
I enjoy listening to On the Mic with Mike every day at 1 p.m.
That's what I do!
Welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the daily social business enterprise show in the area. I'm your host, Mike King. I'd like to thank Angie and David from Belltower Pictures for coming in. Folks, make sure you check out the documentary. It is awesome. One of the benefits about being in the media is you get to see things early, and it is awesome, so you don't want to miss out. Next up on the microphone, so today's, as I said, is moving quickly. It's action-packed. We have Tom Childrey here with the tenacious top-of-mind topic. He is the sponsor of the program, first hour. Tom, welcome back.
Thank you, Mike. It's good to be back.
Okay, so now you got some great information for business owners, how to diversify and be bigger than they actually are.
Absolutely. So as a social enterprise digital business advocate, part of my responsibility is to help businesses make that transition into full-blown digital presence. They have a website, they got a Facebook page, they've got some pictures on Instagram, but how are they actually going to convert that to money? And especially with the holidays coming up, and as we've just gone through the pandemic, people are realizing, especially in the restaurants, where they needed to have online ordering to have curbside pickup. Well, that's the new norm. JCPenney's, Sears, all the big stores that we grew up with as kids, you know, they're all going out of business.
Okay.
Okay. So where is that shift, that pivot? That shift, that pivot is people want to be able to look at their phone and decide what they want to buy. They might want to go to try it on, but now you can do returns. So what we're trying to work with is helping businesses know that they can have a storefront on their existing website that's just the e-commerce piece.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the time is 1:37. If you would like to talk to Tom about that, or you have some input, give us a call at 804-778-8888. Tom is here to take all your questions. Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but
no problem.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we're looking for businesses, not just restaurants. It works for restaurants, retail stores, service businesses, where people can go online and order what it is that they want and arrange for curbside pickup and you can have delivery if you want. For example, a lot of restaurants through the pandemic, everybody's heard of Uber Eats and Grubhub. The restaurants know, but most of the consumers don't know, that those services, Uber Eats and Grubhub, are charging a 30% commission to the restaurant.
Most people don't know that.
They don't know that. They're just like, okay, where's my food? So what we can do with a storefront is eliminate them having to pay for those people that are going to come to do curbside pickup. Or they may, like some of the pizza places, will do their own delivery within a certain footprint, buying circle from where that business is. Because, if you look at, here's a pizza restaurant that this is our favorite pizza restaurant. It's usually within 4 miles of my house.
Okay.
I live in Short Pump. I'm not driving all the way to Petersburg to get a pizza.
True.
Just not going to happen. So those businesses that are close by me, they may elect to have, we can add our own delivery. It's still cheaper than paying Grubhub or some of those other services. And, even clothing stores, you look at somebody that sells clothing or, hair care products, even salons, they can sell their products even though people aren't coming in necessarily because it's not their time to get a haircut, but they can sell the products and the people can come by and just pick them right up. So it's I call it the Walmart concept, but it's like make it as easy as you possibly can for people to buy whatever you're selling.
Okay.
And they will. They will buy it if it's easy.
How hard is this project to turn for a business owner to get engaged in that?
It's very easy because it's
all they got to do is call Tom Childrey.
That's it. They just got to give me a call and we can walk through the options and see if it's a fit for them. My number's 804-503-8472. Give me a call, shoot me a text, and we can have a conversation about that to see what's a fit for you. We're, just a few short weeks away from Black Friday. Hopefully it's going to help, a lot of businesses suffered through the pandemic. Hopefully, that this year's holiday shopping will be, more profitable for them so they can make up some of that lost revenue.
So, Tom, you're a business guy. You talk to, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Childrey. He is the show sponsor here, and he talks to a number of businesses. Tom, people have said if there is another shutdown, the same way small business had to shut down before, shut down the larger ones and let the small businesses make the money. Have you heard that
Absolutely.
argument?
Yeah, I've been blasting that all over social media.
Okay. So tell people why that would work, and then the people are going to say why it wouldn't work.
Okay, so why I think it would work is common sense. Okay, if you can get in your car and go drive to Walmart and walk around with a mask, you could go to any other small local business here in the greater Richmond area with a mask. So you should be able to go to any of those businesses, and it's kind of difficult for some elected official to determine whether your business is essential. If you're feeding your kids with the profit you make from that business, well, damn, that's an essential business. So, what we have to look at is ways, we got to protect each other's health. I get that. But if you're not set up to take advantage of that, like the smaller restaurants were able to turn on a dime because they were all doing Grubhub. They had that curbside pickup all figured out. Some of the big fancier restaurants where you take your wife for your anniversary or something, they didn't have that. They were slow to pivot to that, and a lot of those went out of business. So we're trying to make sure that if a shutdown comes again, or even if it doesn't, businesses need to be able to put themselves in a situation where they can best serve their local customers. And Richmond's a big small town. People like to go to the local businesses here. You look at the Cary towns and, some of those areas, people love going there and they're local businesses.
So when you look at that right there, there's a possibility is the business owners just need to call you. How long is implementation? Is it a long process?
It's actually a very short process. The biggest holdup depends on how many products they have. You know, if somebody has 1,000 products, we can do that really quickly. If you got 10,000 products, that might take an extra few days. And we're getting ready to run into the holidays, so we want to make sure that we're putting them in a position that we can get that done so they can participate in the holiday shopping.
Ladies and gentlemen, the program is On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier daily social business enterprise show in the area. I'm your host, Mike King. We got Tom Childrey riding shotgun right now during this segment. He is a show sponsor. Tom, how can people find you again?
The best way to reach me would be to phone or text 804-503-VISA, 804-503-8472.
Every time you say that,
I just have to thank the phone company for giving me that number.
how did that happen? You know people.
Divine intervention.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what Tom Childrey can bring to your organization. You are the credit card guy. Give
Yes,
people some tips. We're going into some busy season right now. How can business owners help themselves with the credit card processing and things to look out for?
So there's a lot of different programs now where you can reduce or eliminate your credit card processing fees. And we've been sitting down with a lot of businesses to look at that. For example, last week I met with auto repair place, been in business in Richmond since the 1970s, and we were able to save them $60,000 a year in credit card fees.
60,000. I bet you were very popular there.
Mask or not, that man hugged me. So, you know, there's a lot of conversations that need to be had. People think, oh, well, I got this from my bank, or, you know, conversations are free, but mistakes can be expensive. So if you just keep doing what you're doing and you're not taking advantage of the things that have come about that can be positive changes for your business, it could end up costing you money.
Now, what you had done for that guy had saved him that much money. Was it something big that he had overlooked, or was it something that you're like, okay, well, that made sense?
It was a little bit of both. So one of the things that he wasn't aware of that he could do is it's called cash discounting. So he sets all of his prices at a cash price. But if you're going to pay with a credit card, he incurs some credit card fees. So he just adds those credit card fees onto the customer. If you want the convenience to pay with a credit card, just like if you paid your taxes with a credit card, you pay a small fee for using a credit card. And most all businesses do that or have the ability to do that, but they don't know how to do it and be in compliance.
Okay.
You can't just throw it out there and start, you know, charging people anything you want. So we do what's fair to cover his cost and make it fair for his customers that need that convenience to pay with a credit card. Some of his customers have been coming for, you know, more than 10 years and been writing them a check every time. He's more than willing to give them that discount.
Good enough. The time is 1:46. The program is On the Mic with Mike. Tom Childrey here, the credit card guy. We're here daily with you from 1 to 3 p.m. WJFN Radio, 100.5, 92.7, 820 a.m. It is the place where the game changers meet. Up next at the top of the hour, we have award-winning artist Speech of Arrested Development, of the famed Mr. Wendell, Everyday People, and Tennessee. So he's going to be here talking about that as community activism as well. I'd like to thank Sandra Wilson, who's going to sit in with us on that as the sponsor of the segment. Also, people who help make it happen, Mom Michelle's Cafe, Bloom Matchmaking, as well as the Dope Soap Lady, and also Carolina Girl Catering. Those are some other friends of the program. So make sure you hear them, support them, and we'll be back on the other side with more with Tom.
and after the salon has been active in the Richmond, Virginia community, providing hairstyling services for over 10 years. Before and After is located in downtown Richmond at 1917 West Carey Street. Specializing in weaves, extensions, and growing healthy hair, Before and After provides a full suite of hair care services. Expert stylists Michelle Smith and Alicia Clark are well trained to meet your styling needs at Before and After the salon.
Does your home need a makeover? If so, refresh with quality with LA Labor and Painting, LLC. They make your home sparkle and be the envy of the community. They are masters at interior and exterior painting, drywall. They clean decks. They landscape and remove items you wish were gone. The bottom line is, they refresh with quality, provide professional service, and follow all guidelines regarding COVID-19. Call today to make your home sparkle. You can reach LA Labor by calling 804-972-8014. Call today for the On the Mic with Mike discount. When you mention the program, you'll receive 20% off of the beautification of your most prized possession. Call LA Labor and Painting today at 804-972-8014.
Are you experiencing difficulties with paying your mortgage or bringing your mortgage current? If so, we can help. Give Neighborhood Home and Assistance a call at 1-800-441-6872 or text 757-951-3048 for the immediate response. We have over 10 years of mortgage experience working with some of the largest mortgage corporations in America. For more information, visit neighborhoodhomeassistance.com to schedule your free over-the-phone consultation. Remember, time is one thing we can't get back, and your home is your investment. Act fast.
Are you tired of dating online? Bloom Matchmaking offers a safe and effective alternative. Every match is vetted and background checked. Bloom Matchmaking offers a personalized experience just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-205-5063. Let Bloom take the stress out of dating. Mention On the Mic with Mike and receive 20% off. That number again is 804-205-5063. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
I enjoy listening to On the Mic with Mike every day at 1 p.m.
That's what I do.
Welcome back on the Mic with Mike. This is a business program professionally done. Sandra Wilson from Black Connections, and they're setting up the light. Tom Childrey trying to drop nuggets of knowledge. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing in here. So, Tom, you were saying about helping folks out build out a storefront on their website.
Correct. So it becomes like a pop-up window. So they can have that. They can have links to it on Facebook. People can make orders, and being able to do that makes a small mom and pop business, local business here in Richmond, be able to compete with the big guys because the internet's there. If you have good quality products and services that you're trying to market, having a storefront that allows people to pay when they're interested in doing it, because if you make it difficult for them, well, I got to look at it on your website, but then I got to call your store to actually buy one. People want to just, they're in that mood. They want to buy it now. We want to help business owners make it easy for their customers to buy their products and services.
What does a person need to do to get, what are not enough products and what are too many products?
Well, there are not, as far as we know, there's not too many products. The largest one we've done had 25,000 products.
Okay.
They call them SKUs, the little barcode.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 4 or 5, it's a good place to start. The question I think business owners want to ask themselves, I have this many products now, where do I want to grow my business? Is that to add more products? and you can have all the modifiers. Say you want a microphone, and you want the little sponge on the microphone, but you went to Virginia Tech, so you want that maroon color. But somebody else went to University of Delaware, they want that blue color. So you can have those modifiers, and that takes 5 products to 25 products.
Alrighty, and what's the downside for a person to not do this? Simply not knowing that it's available?
Well, one of the reasons why people don't do it is because they just don't know, or for some reason they think, oh, it's terribly expensive, because they might have talked to somebody that told them about building a website for $5,000. That's not what they need for this. This is just a pop-up that's going to be on their existing website. So it doesn't have to be a fancy website. We'll make the pop-up fancy. But they need to just be able to know that if you're the best kept secret in Richmond, you will go broke.
People never bought something from someone they never heard of.
That's right. The occasional person who just happened to buy and stopped in your restaurant and ate, is a rarity. And for retail, somebody might stop by if you're in a busy retail area, but the technology is, not the old bag phone anymore. People have a computer in their pocket that they're never more than a few feet away from, that can access any information that they want. And if they can't find your business, there's a really good chance they're going to find somebody else's business that sells your product and service.
So it's about telling your story, telling it loud, and telling it often. You became the credit card guy because that's what you did, and then you took it and made it your own.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like when you're a kid, people, you get a nickname. And I was in the networking groups here in town, and everybody kept calling me the credit card guy. And I had some customers where I would, call because I needed to talk to the business owner.
And it's like, oh, you're the...
And somebody would say, hey, boss, it's the credit card guy on the phone. So I was like, oh, so I just ran with it, and I trademarked it, Tom Childrey, the credit card guy. And
How long has that been? How long ago was that?
That's probably been 17, 18 years.
So you were on the front edge of that right there.
Yeah,
before personal branding, you were there branding before it became.
Yeah, before
it became. You were country before.
Yeah, before country. I moved here in October of 1998, or no, 97, excuse me. And I parked my car and I just hoofed it. I parked my car at it was a First Union Bank then, at the corner of Patterson Avenue and Staples Mill, or no, Broad Street and Staples Mill. And then I walked all the way to Shockoe Bottom, stopped in every business, and walked my way back. And I was the only credit card guy in town, except for a few banks. So I got to know a lot of really successful business owners. Some of them had real small businesses there along Broad Street and now have huge businesses.
And they were there at the beginning with the credit card guy.
Right.
So you also know everyone, and everyone knows you. Danielle Fitzhugh was here yesterday, and she says whenever something is asked, Tom Childrey is the guy who makes it happen, that you helped him out. Talk about your commitment to community.
Well, the commitment to community is deep. My father was a principal. My mom was a teacher. And it's all about, giving back to the community. If there's somebody that needs assistance, be that person that gives assistance. I am a member of the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce and also the Colonial Heights Chamber of Commerce, and I'm on the board of directors of both of those to help build the community in those areas, because those businesses that are members of the chamber, they employ people that live in the community. When you spend money at a local business, that local business is investing that money back into your community. Amazon been around a long time. I don't know any Little League team that they ever sponsored. but the local businesses do. So we got to give back. We got to help those businesses. And sometimes, and a lot of times I've talked to business owners that they were really good at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're really good at that, but they may not be good at bookkeeping or, some of these other things. And I don't necessarily do those things, but I know people that I know, like, and trust that I can refer in there that I know will take care of those businesses and, make sure that everything is being taken care of for them, because we're all in this together. I live here, you live here, they live here. If everybody's looking out for everybody else,
we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's right. We can make it happen, and great things will happen if we all work together.
How can people find Tom Childrey, the credit card guy?
Two ways. The first and easiest way probably is my cell, which is 804-503-VISA, VISA, 804-503-8472, or our website is GetBeyond, GetBeyond.com. And again, I'm Tom Childrey, the credit card guy. Quick, easy collect. I'm going to make it easier than you expect.
I was going to ask you to drop the tagline, but you just came with it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, show sponsor Tom Childrey. I'd like to thank him for coming in. We will be back shortly.
Thank you very much.
Listening to WJFN Goochland, WJFN Chester.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The nation's top prosecutor says credible claims of voter fraud in the presidential election deserve a closer look.
Attorney General William Barr has authorized federal prosecutors across the nation to pursue substantial allegations of voting irregularities if they exist. The Associated Press has obtained a memo from Barr to U.S. attorneys in which he writes, investigations may be conducted if there are clear and apparently credible allegations of irregularities that, if true, could potentially impact the outcome of a federal election in an individual state. States have until December 8th to resolve election disputes. Members of the Electoral College meet December 14th to finalize the outcome. Mike Gracia, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, Republican elected officials and the Trump administration have advanced their latest arguments to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, a long-held GOP goal. In arguments before the Supreme Court, Texas Solicitor General Kyle Hawkins says if the court finds the Affordable Care Act's coverage mandate was unconstitutional, then the entire law should be struck down.
The proper course is to take Congress at its word and declare the mandate unconstitutional and inseverable from the remainder of the ACA.
Arguments taking place today in the Supreme Court's third major case over the 10-year-old law, popularly known as Obamacare. And on Capitol Hill, the hearing is continuing. A Senate panel hearing testimony from former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. The former number 2 man at the agency is testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee on the origins of Operation Crossfire Hurricane, the discredited Russian collusion probe aimed at bringing down President Trump. On Wall Street, stocks mixed. The Dow had 208 points, but the Nasdaq down 129. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance.
Stock market have you nervous with all the massive fluctuations? With the hope for a COVID vaccine on the rise, shifting political landscape, and the election at an end, it's virtually impossible to guess what will happen next. With Vantage Point, you don't have to. Text MONEY to 411-411 to find out how our technology can forecast market trends up to 3 days in advance with incredible accuracy. Text MONEY to 411-411 to get what you need to stay ahead of market trends and find explosive moves before they happen. Vantage Point's patented technology analyzes huge quantities of global data in seconds. Stop guessing. Start predicting trends 72 hours in advance. Text MONEY to 411-411 and experience Vantage Point for free. Text MONEY to 411-411 so you can protect and grow your capital now. Don't wait. Text MONEY to 411-411.
Go to VantagePointSoftware.com for terms, conditions, and privacy policy.
First at the U.S. Naval Academy, Ron DeRockstra with that story.
Midshipman First Class Sydney Barber is the 16th woman selected for brigade commander in the 44 years women have attended the academy, but she'll be the first black female commander when she assumes the post for the spring semester. Brigade commander is the highest leadership position within the academy's student body. The semester-long position is selected through an application and interview process by senior leadership and the commandant's staff. Rhonda Rockstar reporting.
The sentence is 9 years in prison for a former Microsoft employee. The 26-year-old man, a Ukrainian citizen living in Washington state, engineered a scheme to steal $10 million in digital currency. Money authorities say he used to buy a $160,000 car in a lakefront home. In his job at Microsoft, he was responsible for helping test the company's online retail sales platform. Breaking news at townhall.com. Alex Trebek may be gone, but the people behind the game show he hosted for decades are making sure he isn't forgotten.
Thank you for everything, Alex. This is Jeopardy!
An emotional executive producer, Mike Richards, opening the first Jeopardy! Show to air after Alex Trebek's death.
This is an enormous loss for our staff and crew, for his family, and for his millions of fans.
Richards says Trebek leaves a big legacy.
He will forever be an inspiration for his constant desire to learn, his kindness, and for his love of his family.
Richards says the final 35 episodes Trebek shot will air as scheduled, the last one set for December 25th. I'm Oscar Wells Gabriel.
The Pittsburgh Steelers placing 4 more players on the COVID-19 list, including quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The move comes a day after tight end Vance McDonald went on the list after testing positive. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
I enjoy listening to On the Mic with Mike every day at 1 p.m.
That's what I do!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mic with Mike. It is the premier daily social enterprise business show in the Richmond area. I'm your host, Mike King, riding today with Sandra Wilson of Black Connections. So, Sandra, you're supposed to say something.
I am. Hi, guys.
Okay, so on the Mic with Mike, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Mike King, and I appreciate you being here with me. The views expressed here are mine alone, have no connection to, support of, or agreement with any of the host. Information ads on the station. I don't work for the station. I just appreciate you guys listening to me as we bring you this information. Up next, we'd like to welcome to the program award-winning artist, Speech of Arrested Development. Sir, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're big fans. Richmond has been waiting on this with bated breath. We're here with Sandra Wilson, she of Black Connection fame. We're going to talk a little bit about your path, your history, what you have going on, and then anything else that you'd like to touch on. So could you give us your background a little bit, how you came to Arrested Development? We can talk a little bit about that and what you have going on, the civic engagement that you have.
Yeah, so Arrested Development was started in 1987. Basically, I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, and I was looking to start a group. And there was a man named Tim that was looking at a flyer that I had posted up, and we started a conversation, and he was the first member in the group. And that went on to sort of develop this jam session type of group that was really Afrocentric, very expressive, and it sort of developed into what the world would know as Arrested Development. We released our music in 91 with a song called Tennessee, and that began to really take off. And we had another single called Everyday People, People Every Day, it's actually called. And that even did better. Then we did another single, Mr. Wendell. Long story short, we sold about 4 million albums in the States and another number of millions overseas, and touring all around the world and doing music. And conscious hip hop music. It is straight out of Atlanta, Georgia.
So, and congratulations and thank you for that right there. Folks, if you'd like to listen to the program, we have folks who are on Instagram. You can go to On the Mic with Mike. You'll be able to see us on Facebook and hear Speech talking. Speech, explain to folks what it likes to be part of something that's generational, that's a music that was a staple of our time.
I'm sorry, I missed that question. My phone must have went out for a second.
So we'd like to find out what's it like to have an inspiring song or songs that are like the soundtrack of a generation. Tennessee, People Every Day, Mr. Wendell set the tone for socially conscious music. Talk a little bit about what it means to produce those and the impact that they had from the artists, because we know what it was like being fans.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's surreal because, first of all, it was our very first single ever. So whenever you're an artist and you put out music, generally speaking, you're expecting your career to, bubble up over the years and gain more and more following. For us, it was very different. I produced the music. I did the lyrics for the songs. So it was surreal to see something that you create that's very personal to you. Add to that Tennessee was written from my grandmother dying, and she lived in Tennessee, and my brother was at her funeral. He died the same week, and the last place I saw both of them was in Tennessee. So the song has personal, deep roots and meaning to me. So you add all of that together, it was very surreal to be able to make music that has such a lasting impression, but also means so much, not only to me, but hopefully to the listeners.
Hi, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sandra Wilson. I own a company called Black Connections. And I would like to know from you, because I grew up listening, to your music. You're a little older than me, but you guys are absolutely amazing. And I love the concept behind the music. My business is pro-Black pretty much.
Yes, sir. She is truly pro-Black. So when she says Black Connection, she is not fooling around.
Yes, that is true. I'm all about Black-owned businesses. But I have a question for you. I mean, I know you guys did all this music back in the day, right? And so, I mean, y'all were like really out there before your time in as far as like the pro-Black movement and stuff. With what's going on, in the world today, would you change, any of your lyrics or anything that you guys did back in the day? Would you change any of that?
No, in fact, I wouldn't, because I feel like it's more relevant today than it might have been then, or at least just as relevant. I'm saddened that the music has to be relevant today the way it is. I'm saddened that some of the situations that I talked about in earlier stuff in the 90s is still so relevant right now. So I'm saddened by that. And at the same time, obviously, you're encouraged that the music still can serve a purpose.
Absolutely.
For today's generations. And so there's a lot of young people who are growing up disconnected from old school hip hop that are just that are being reintroduced to it. They're learning about it. And so a lot of them are encouraged by the fact that there was a time in hip hop music where conscious artists were selling millions of records and touring all around the world, and they were not relegated to the underground. That encourages youth that I meet, and it inspires them to realize that they have way much more width in what their voices can be, in the art that they create, and the things that they're talking about. And unfortunately, a lot of the newer artists have succumbed to what really is an intentional campaign to narrow the subject matter that's allowed on the mainstream distribution and radio stations, distribution companies and radio stations. So youth are a lot of times very inspired. So I wouldn't want to change it. No, I'm very grateful for where we've been and what we're doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Void. That is Speech of Arrested Development on the mic with Mike. I'd like to thank him for joining in. Ken, so now you talked about socially conscious music. You are a TEDx speaker. You're part of the Turnaround Arts program. You also had the Victory Spot. So you're mentoring young people out there, the next generation of leaders. Talk a little bit about that. And you also had done 16 bars. Tell a little bit, give our listeners some idea of the creative things that you're doing that have social impact today.
So I had been complaining for a long time, for really years, about the lack of representation. And instead of complaining, I decided to get engaged and go ahead and do something about it. The first thing that my queen and I did, I'm married to a woman named Yolanda. We've been together 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so we decided to start an art school called the Victory Spot, where young kids can gain victory in this music industry without selling their souls or going down directions that they didn't initially want to go down.
Can I ask you a question really quick with the Victory Spot? I noticed that you had said it's in a certain part of town. Explain to the listeners who are not familiar with Atlanta where it is and why you put it in that part of town.
I lost you for a moment. I heard you say a certain part of town.
So when I looked, I looked into it. When you talked about putting the Victory Spot in a certain place, why did you put it where you did instead of, say, other parts of town that people would think that you'd be located in?
Sorry, you dropped out one more time. Sorry about that.
When you did the Victory Spot, where you located it, why did you locate it where you did? Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I didn't get the full question, but I did want to say that we're on the south side of Atlanta.
That's it.
And south side is special because a lot of the developing, like the artist development companies and talent development companies that exist are on the north side in some of the business districts, and ours is on the south side, which is a hugely growing population of blacks and artists and creativity. There's a Hollywood studio here called Trilith. It used to be called Pinewood. So you got this new influx of very, very creative, talented people who don't have a lot of access, and especially with COVID-19, to go downtown to the already existing schools, and ours is on the south side. So I'm not sure if I answered the question because I didn't hear it, but I did hear you say a certain area of town. So I just wanted to hit that off.
And that's exactly what I was asking you. So could you talk a little bit about the film 16 Bars?
Hello?
16 Bars?
Hello?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. That's
Teddy Riley.
yes, it is. So we're a little bit. So can you tell the listeners about 16 Bars and the connection to Richmond?
Yeah, so I had saw a very inspiring documentary on CNN called This Is Life by a woman named Lisa Ling. And it was of a daddy-daughter dance that was happening in a Richmond, Virginia jail. And my manager and I both saw it. He called me. He was like, Speech, are you seeing this? And I'm like, yeah. We were so inspired by the vision that the sheriff of that particular jail must have had in order to allow these men to be humanized and be with their daughters and have family time, even though they were still presently locked up. And so I reached out to this particular jail, which happens to be in Richmond, Virginia,
and that's where
to
we
see
are.
if they might have exactly, which is where you guys are. And my hope is that they would have that same vision to do other things and to include music. So we just started building and talking about things that we might be able to do together. And it took about 2 years to work through some of the concepts that we wanted to do. And me personally, I wanted to make music with the residents inside of the jail.
Oh, nice.
And try to release this music so people could hear the voices of those men and women. And so I got a production team of filmmakers because I wanted this to be filmed and documented. And we were able to pull it off about 2.5 years later after that first call to the jail. We were able to work through all of the stuff and make sure that the people that did the creativity were able to make money from it. So all of these things were red tape type items that we had to work through in order to make this happen. But it's now out, and I'm so proud of this film. It's called 16 Bars, based on how many bars usually rappers spit on records. And it's a very inspiring, really, you get a story that you get to hear the men in the jail speak their realities through creativity, but also through us following them around their lives. And I tried to stay out of the way as much as possible, but be the conduit to allow everybody else to be able to feel their humanity. And I felt like this film could be a great help for the whole justice reform endeavors that are, presently going on throughout the nation. So And I think it is. So people should definitely check out the film. It's called 16 Bars.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm so glad that you did that. I have I do lives on Instagram for my black-owned businesses, and there's one question that I always ask them. If you had the opportunity to talk to your younger self, like right now, what would you tell your younger self after everything that you went through as a child, as an adult, with your, career? What would you tell your younger self today?
A few things. One is be proud of what you're doing. Don't doubt. And then the second thing I would say is make sure you're paying attention to the people on your team, that they all feel taken care of. Because that was one of the big things that played into Arrested Development having to break up really at the height of our career, was people feeling disgruntled, people not knowing a full situation, and me being, as the leader of the group, being too focused on continuing to move the group forward without really checking the health status of everybody in the group. And so that's what I would tell my younger self. No, take a moment here and take a consensus of how everybody in your crew and your team is doing. Do they all feel taken care of? Do they all feel good about where everything's going? To make sure that that everybody's moving forward at the same pace.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Speech of Arrested Development on the mic with Mike, WJFN Radio. We do different here. We bring the game changers to you. Can you talk a little bit about, to our listeners, Arrested Development ahead of the time, strictly stayed in your lane? When you embrace differentness, everyone is different, but when you guys came out the gate, I'm 60, so, I was there right there when it hit. No one had seen anything like you guys. Half the people didn't know where Tennessee was. We didn't know the words of the song. We just saw something that was different. Talk a little bit about how that movement captured America and what it did to you guys.
I lost the last part of the question.
What did the rise of Arrested Development do to you guys, that you're part of a movement and you embrace differentness?
Yeah, I think it was amazing. I mean, for us, it let us know that diversity was being celebrated and that we were able to be ourselves, being from the South, because at that time, hip-hop music didn't break off from the South yet. So we were charting new territory as a hip-hop crew that wasn't from New York, wasn't from L.A., but from Atlanta, Georgia. And Afrocentric, that was new territory, especially coming from Atlanta area. So all of these things, it was a celebration for us. And to be honest, since like Oprah Winfrey, her show came out, there's been a new thing that I wish we would have taken advantage of, and that is just breathe in the moment. And one of the things she used to tell a lot of celebrities that were on her show was that, make sure you breathe this moment in. Even though we were celebratory, we didn't breathe it in as much as we would have, if we had that knowledge. And so I'm just very grateful that, we were able to do what we did. And then we have a new album that's getting incredible reviews right now. Some say it's better than our first album, which is the one that sold all the millions of copies. So I'm really encouraged about that. And Don't Fight Your Demons is that album. It's out now.
What was the inspiration behind Don't Fight the Demons?
Don't Fight Your Demons it's a very personal record that is addressing people with addiction and with problems of thorns that are continuously hitting them in their flesh throughout their life, certain things they can't get rid of, whether it be drinking or drugs or something like that. A lot of people try to fight these demons, not knowing that these demons can teach you a lot. And what I mean by that is instead of fighting them and them coming back, find out what exactly is the service that they are providing for you. And when you find that out, then you can understand the root issue of why you're inviting them into your life in the first place. Then you could get rid of them and replace them with something substantial and real and positive for your life. And so a lot of us find ourselves in cycles that we want to get out of a certain situation and we're not able to. So this album addresses that, and I go into detail in every song pretty much about some of the demons that I had been fighting that now I'm starting to deal with. in this record. So when people listen to it, you'll see that in every song.
The program is On the Mic with Mike. The time is 2:22. Sandra Wilson, the Black Connections here. We'd like to thank some of our people who helped make this possible. The Dope Soap Lady, Gina. We also like to thank Bloom Matchmaking, Mom Michelle's Cafe, for helping us make this happen. So can you talk a little about your involvement with creating the next generation, I guess, with Turnaround Arts, with the TEDx speaking? What's next for Arrested Development? What are you guys doing now, and how has COVID sort of changed your business model?
Sure. Well, with Arrested Development, we got this new album out that we just dropped. It dropped September 25th, and we're excited. I mean, people are excited. We're promoting it in every way we can. Because of COVID-19, you can't do touring, so that's out the question for all groups. So we're doing some virtual performances for various organizations, and we're promoting heavy on social media and online. So we're doing that with Arrested Development, and we're already recording new music, so we're planning to just keep that momentum going. So that's with Arrested Development. Turnaround Arts was a blessing to me. You know, I got asked to be a Turnaround Arts artist, which is really a high privilege. I mean, some of the top artists in all styles of acting, music, visual arts are part of the Turnaround Arts thing. It's part of the whole Kennedy initiative out of D.C. And so I get to go to schools, usually middle schools, and talk to young kids about their futures and talk to them about, really fulfilling their dreams and really sticking to the plan of what they felt that they should bring to the world, as opposed to becoming sheep that sort of follow the guidelines of what the world tells them they should be. And so that's one of my big sort of missions whenever I'm around young folks. And then the TED Talk is the same difference, trying to explain to people about the history of racism in my life and the history of how activism turned my life from sort of a victim to a victor, and tried to change the realities that we face as a people and change the realities that I faced as an individual. And then I also have a scholarship fund called the Terrence Thomas Scholarship Fund, actually the Dr. Terrence Thomas Scholarship Fund. That's based on my brother, who I just mentioned earlier in this interview that he died. And my mom and I started this scholarship. We've raised over $1 million. We give it to young people striving to get through college that need some help. They have to have, a B+ or above grade point average. These are incredible students. We've had lawyers, doctors, various people graduate through our help. And so that's one of the things that people can find all of this on my website, brotherspeech.com. And so those are just some of the things. And then I mentioned Victory Spot. So all of those things are my way of focusing on the youth. I have youth as my kids. My kids are 23 and 26 years old. So I'm really connected to what the youth and millennials are feeling because I'm living with them. I'm with them. So a lot of the initiatives that I put forth are to try to help them to evolve and go forward.
So you have a podcast called Everyday People Podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my family does a tradition that I grew up doing when I was a kid, and that is at the dinner table or breakfast table, both, we talk a lot about issues and things that are going on. It could be something frivolous like a Cardi B song, or it could be something deep like an election issue or a prison issue. And we just talk about it. And it was so lively and it was so vibrant that I was like, we should put this into a podcast. And we started to do that. So me, my queen, my daughter, and then we invite certain guests. We talk about all of these issues, whether it be Jada Pinkett's, stuff she was doing with the singer, or it could be about something deeper, about some political issue. So we talk about all of these things, and it's usually a lively and really great discussion.
Well, sir, we'd like to thank you for coming on. One last thing, could you let people know where they could find you?
Yeah, so my social media handle is speech __, and my website is brotherspeech.com. And you can get everything from Don't Fight Your Demons to watching the podcast to 16 Bars links. So you could go see that on Amazon, all from brotherspeech.com.
Well, I'd really like to thank you for coming on. When I reached out, I'm like, there's no way. There ain't no way this brother's going to come on. Like, who is this Mike King guy in Richmond? But you know what you're doing is inspiring. So being part of Arrested Development was enough. But what you're doing for the youth is something outstanding. You know, showing them the way, showing them there are other options. And for people who have been there, congratulations on your success. If you ever make it through Richmond, please stop by and see us. And if there's ever anything that we can do to help you get the word out, we are here for you.
I appreciate it. I love Richmond. I stayed there during that entire filming of 16 Bars, and it became like a very real place for me. And I've been back ever since. So, yeah, thank you to Richmond, and thank y'all for this interview.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Speech of Arrested Development. We'd like to thank him for coming on the program. Shout out to Sandra Wilson, Black Connections, LLC, for helping with this. Also, the Dope Soap Lady, Gina Conyers, Mama Michelle's Cafe, and Bloom Matchmaking. The program is On the Mic with Mike. We are up next with Katina Moss. She is here with us. She's always engaging and bringing us great information. And we will talk to you on the other side.
Hi, Chef Michelle here of Mama Michelle's Cafe, home of the Soul Rolls, located at 10811 Whole Street Road. Give us a call at 804-912-1644 or order online at mamamichelle's.com. Ask about our off-site catering options as well as our online ordering through Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. Follow us on all social media at Mama Michelle's Cafe. That's Mama Michelle's, Soul south of the James. Mention Mike on the mic and get a free dessert on us. Special rules apply.
Hi, I'm Tom Childrey, the credit card guy with Beyond. I believe it should not be confusing or expensive for your business to accept credit cards. As a social enterprise business advocate, my mission gets you paid faster with fair rates, helping your business grow. We can be contacted at area code 804-503-8472, 804-503-8472, or at getbeyond.com. Again, I'm Tom Childrey, the credit card guy. Quick, easy collect. We make it easier than you expect.
The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is still at the lowest level in 50 years. I'm Mark Livingstone with Cornerstone First Financial, and it's now more important than ever to work with a friend you can trust. As a mortgage broker and lender, we can guarantee to meet or beat any competitor on this very station, or Cornerstone will pay your mortgage for an entire year. Some restrictions do apply, but call now at 202-625-1221. That's 202-625-1221 or online at cornerstonefirst.com. Listen, these rates will not be this low forever. And when the pandemic is over, it's the housing industry that will bring the people out of this and bring the economy back. Do yourself a favor and call the only company that delivers what it promises, not some window rate with a bunch of points attached. 202-625-1221. That's 202-625-1221 or cornerstonefirst.com.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Kiara Johnson with your WJFN 100.5 FM weather report brought to you by Dominion Energy. Some unseasonable warmth for your November day. Richmond, partly cloudy, areas of patchy fog early, and then high 78 for your today. Tonight, partly cloudy, and then becoming cloudy after midnight. Slight chance of a rain shower, low 63. Charlottesville, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 74. Tonight, cloudy with occasional showers overnight, low 62. 60% chance of those rain showers. Fredericksburg, sunshine and clouds mixed. 76 degrees is the high for your tonight. Partly cloudy early in the evening, followed by cloudy skies overnight. Slight chance of a rain shower, low 61. That has been your weather report. Please visit dominionenergy.com.
The best remedy for the body, soul, and that of your family is to get back to nature's best. And the best way to do that is spending a day buying the freshest meats and eggs at Harmony Hill Farm in Fluvanna. On the all-natural Harmony Hill Farm, you'll find only the freshest natural products for your table at home. Take your family for a walk on the farm. Take in the fresh air and ask anything you want to know. Harmony Hill Farm loves visitors, and visiting the farm to buy your food allows you to see for yourself how things are done. Harmony Hill Farm produces food products that are raised naturally, raising animals as naturally as possible while being good stewards of God's creation. Their chicken, naturally raised woodland pork, beef, lamb, and eggs are all in stock. No confinement houses, no GMOs, food lots, or pharmaceutical inputs. Just healthy animals in the natural pasture for the best quality meats. Visit Harmony Hill Farm in Fluvanna. Their satellite store in Glen Allen open Saturdays 10 to 2. Call 434-286-7094 or visit the online store at harmonyhillfarm.net.
Mike King isn't a businessman. He's a businessman with his own talk show. On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program in the game.
Time is 2:33. The program is On the Mic with Mike. We'd like to thank Speech of Arrested Development for coming on with the great information. That was outstanding. Informative, engaging, and just like to thank him for doing that. Next up, we have with us in the house, KMOSS the boss. Katina Moss is with us. Okay, we see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happened with live radio. We're just moving so fast. We got Al Green running around, trying to make sure we got everything straight. Okay,
Are we straight? We're good.
Straight.
Now.
Okay, now you're Katina Moss.
Hey,
KMOSS the boss.
everyone. Yes, KMOSS the boss. KMOSS presents
Okay.
as well. It's great being here today. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You know, there's a historic day. On the Mic with Mike has grown up. We're a real radio program.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And to follow speech is like,
There you
okay.
You got the Afrocentric thing going on. That's who you are.
That's who I am. And so I was so excited to hear about, I definitely was in my college years, I think at the height of Arrested Development, and remember just being on the dance floor at University of Richmond and everywhere that we partied to sing and dancing to those songs, and them definitely being a part of the heartbeat of my college
Inquiring
years.
minds want to know, what were the parties like at the University of Richmond during that time? What did
During
it
that
look
time,
like?
well, see, what we had was the Multicultural Student Union, and I was the treasurer of that organization
course
for
you were the
several
treasurer.
years.
Okay, yes.
And I was the one who booked the DJs for the parties, actually. And so when we had a moment on campus, which we would have one as much as possible, we could have a party, we would always, because, I mean, the school was heavily resourced and still is, we were able to book whatever DJ we wanted. And our
You guys was
DJ,
rolling in dough.
DJ Drake, we would always book him. And we would have really good parties. We'd be right there in the pier. It's overlooking the water. The lights are there, the dance floor. And we actually would have a lot of folks come from VCU and Virginia, some from Virginia Union, but definitely from VCU to come to our party. So you can ask some folks who were at VCU in the 90s when I was there at University of Richmond, and you can ask them about our parties. We had good parties. We had great parties, as a matter of fact.
So sometimes having privilege has its benefits.
Definitely, because we didn't have to really struggle for anything, and pretty much whatever we asked for to be able to make our stay there more comfortable, we were able to receive.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the serious stuff. You were here for a reason today.
Definitely here for a reason.
Okay, what are you here to let our good listeners know about?
Well, first of all, I definitely want to give a shout out to the folks that I'm working with at this moment with different projects around the city.
You always have multiple projects.
I always have multiple projects going on. So just to remind everyone, I'm Katina Moss, and we are KMOSS Presents. and we design experiences that inspire cultural connection, college and career attainment, and community and civic engagement. And so in particular, I describe myself as a youth integration strategist. One reason I was excited to hear about Speech and what he does with the youth, because I actually help organizations integrate youth programs into their plans and processes.
You are an educator to your core.
Absolutely. I'm an educator to the core. So right now I'm happy to be working with the Storefront for Community Design. Shout out to that organization, some of the folks that are at the forefront of rethinking Richmond to be a more equitable space. And I love any organization that centers youth and families. And so their organization that they have that's really out there for the youth is the Six Pick Innovation Center, Six Pick. And I'm working with their City Builders program right now with their really cool civic engagement program. And with that, I have to give a shout out to my connection that connected me with that program, Zenobia Bay with Community 50/50. And so always shout out and love to that sister for all that she does for the community.
50/50, they do a ton of things.
A ton of things.
They do. Shout out to Zenobia.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and of course, always the More Legacy Foundation. And we'll have an exciting announcement coming soon. So hopefully you'll have us back to talk about that. We're
Shout
making
out to Diaz Moore.
Absolutely, Diaz Moore. That's a strong brother out there. That's out there for the culture, for the cause, with his business, and also with the endeavors that we have with youth in reference to IT fundamentals. And we'll have some exciting announcements coming here soon in reference to college access and college attainment too, and some expansion that we're doing across the state. So hopefully you'll have us back to talk about that.
I'm sure you will be. Okay, so but now we're talking about
my sister Lynette Lee, and a huge just love out to Lynette Lee. I met Lynette at an event back in 2018 with the Young Entrepreneurs Association with my sister out in Petersburg. And Lynette is an angel. She is just love personified. And we met, and she came to our Kwanzaa festival as a vendor in Hopewell, our Ujamaa festival. And from the Ujamaa Festival in Hopewell, we began the First Friday Freedom Open Mic Series. And Lynette volunteered to be our vendor coordinator. And to be, you know what it's like to run multiple enterprises. Mm-hmm. And for my vendor coordination to be handled by such a loving and gentle soul who was very professional and just already had a captive audience of vendors that she could call. And she has a really great mind in reference to which vendors fit into what spaces. And I was just able to turn that entire process over to her. And she handled it as I would handle it, with love and kindness and consideration. And so she asked me if I would be a host for an event for her.
Okay, so Lynette Lee, welcome to the program.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, so
Thank you.
So Katina's talked about loving, gentle, peaceful, and you're here today to talk about damsels. What's the name of it?
Yeah, Damsel in Defense. Yes.
The floor is yours. We have been waiting all day for you. Now, you were talking about women with self-defense stuff. Correct?
Exactly.
Please inform our listeners what's out there and what's available, because it is interesting. And
okay,
needed.
well, thank you. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Well, I would say that we provide stylish tools to keep you safe. So, we like things stylish, but they also keep us safe. One of the things is we know that things happen, but you want to have a way to protect yourself. And we provide training as well. Our mission is to equip, empower, and educate women how to keep safe and help them feel confident that if they had to use any of our tools, they could. So we don't just sell it to them, we also train them how to use it.
And when you say tools, what are you talking about exactly, ma'am?
I am talking about stun devices, pepper sprays, personal keychain alarms. We have concealed carry purse backpacks. We have bulletproof shield to go in those backpacks to protect us, and even protecting your money, RFID wallets, emergency whistles, and we also have items to help have conversations with your kids to help prepare them so if they found themselves in what we refer to a tricky situation, how they can respond. So we want to start with them young to try and change those statistics that are out there.
So let me ask you. So my kids are old now. I'm on the grandkids now. The whole stranger danger thing, that's we're a little past that, I would guess.
Yeah. So now what we have is we have a series called Safe Hearts. That's sharing awareness and family education. So we have books. There's a series of books. They're in English and Spanish, and there is even a game that the whole family can play. So say, for instance, one of our books will cover, a child accidentally saw something on the internet they shouldn't see, or they found a gun, or one is called, gosh, I'm getting nervous.
Don't worry about it. You're at home. Katina's here. She just,
Big Brother.
She's just
Madison's
on her phone.
Big Brother.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Madison's Big Brother, for instance, this would be a book that you would not give to the child to read. You would sit down and read it with them. And in this book, Madison goes to play with her friend that has a big brother. And the big brother is playing a video game, and she goes to play with him, and he tries to steal a kiss. But Madison's mom has already sat down with her and had the conversation about boundaries, what to say, what to do if someone tries to cross that boundary. And in the book, if you remember Fat Albert, back in the day, they had those, the people that's, the good conscious. So in the book, we have what we call heart defenders. And the heart defenders cheer her on to say, you can do it, you can tell them no. And as they're reading the book, it opens it up for conversations between the mother and the child, say, if they have been in that situation before, or if they may know someone. And it opens it up in a safe environment so that that conversation can be had. Because if a child's never been in that tricky situation before, they might freeze up and not know how to respond. So this is a way of empowering them to say, no, this is not something I have to tolerate, or I can go home, because they've already, versed it. And when they finish the book, there's a place where their picture goes, and then they become a heart defender where they're helping others. Because when a child is violated, it's the heart that changes. So that's what we're trying to protect.
Wow, I never thought about
starting
that.
young. Mm-hmm.
That's something. Could you say that again? I mean, people need to catch that one about what happens with the heart.
Yeah. So when a child is violated, it's the heart that changes, and that's what once that violation happens, that heart has to be healed again. So that's what we're trying to protect. We're trying to protect the heart, and that's why we call those characters in the book heart defenders.
Okay. So you have an event that's coming up, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let folks know about that.
Okay. This is an online Zoom event, and Katina is the hostess, so I'm excited about.
She is the hostess with the mostest, but she always tells me, when it comes to the details for her events, and I know how she can be a stickler. She says you are the one who really makes it happen as a coordinator. So now you're the host. She's the hostess for your event, and let folks know what you're doing out there.
Yes. So what we're going to do, we're having a Zoom online. We're calling it Sip and Shop. So I would say you can come and sit what you would like. You want to sip tea or whatever, but it's a time to have fun, a safe way to shop, and virtually we'll be able to interact with each other. I haven't seen her for months now. So I'm really, even if I can see her on the internet, it's some connection. So
she's stylish as ever, always.
Yeah.
That's how she rolls. Always bringing good vibes and energy. So when is your event?
It will be on Friday the 13th at 7 p.m. And she does have a Facebook group out there that has the Zoom link and her shopping link as well, because we love to spoil our hostess. So we're looking for her, having some Austin hostess perks so that even those that can't attend that Zoom link, they can go and support her just by shopping her link. And again, we have something for every age. Even for the gentlemen, we have items for them as well.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you for coming on. One last time, let folks know how they can find you.
Yes, Lynette Lee. And my website is mydamselpro.net/diamonds. That's MYDAMSEL pro.net/diamonds, because we shine bright like a diamond and we are hard to break.
Yeah, and with the products and stuff that you have, I'm sure it is. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on the program. You know what? You have to come back again before the event and remind Katina. Make sure you remind me. That way we can make sure that folks know that you're, what you're doing out there. And that was some great information too about the kids. We got to keep that in mind. Keeping kids safe.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
All right,
yes.
We'd like to thank you for coming on. I'll let folks know one last time how they can find you.
Yes, mydamselpro.net/diamonds.
Shining like a diamond. There you go. All righty. Well,
yes.
You're rolling with Katina Moss, so that's all that needs to be said. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, yes. Thank you. And thank you, Katina.
Thank you, Lynette.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mic with Mike. It's been a historic day. We touch on, and I say this is a business show, but every so often we touch on topics and issues of the day. Katina Moss is rolling with us. Next up, we have Mike Lee. No, we don't. We have Mike Dickinson. Mike Dickinson, who was running for office, who is a proud MAGA supporter. We have to have a conversation. Mike, are you there?
I'm here. Good to be here.
All right, sir. What's happening?
Not too much.
No, come on. There's a lot going on. Okay, tell people what you were running for. What's happened? Last thing I saw the other day that you were putting together the Trump train.
Yes, we had our third Trump train this past weekend.
Did you guys can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you guys get the calendar mixed up that this thing has happened already? Or go ahead. The floor is yours. I'm just messing with you.
It's all good. I think that the election has happened and it's a gigantic mess. We've got dead people voting all across America.
Al Green and I, we've had that conversation. Now you're talking the local election as well as for president, correct?
Yes, locally we had a lot of problems too. Locally,
okay.
Locally, a lot of people went to vote and they were given what's known as a federal ballot, where they only can vote for federal offices, so they didn't even get the opportunity to vote for local offices. Locally, we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of precincts that reported having one number as total number of voters, but the actual number of ballots from that location are much less. So we've got a lot of problems that and now all of a sudden 90% of the elections office in Richmond is now quarantined because they've got COVID. Everybody's sick all of a sudden.
I wonder how that is, that the national response has been, hey, do it if you'd like, wear it if you'd like. Now that comes to fruition, and you guys are concerned about quarantining because COVID is running rampant. Could you explain that to me? And also, Al and I, we've had the conversation about dead people voting. When they went to the polls to vote, somebody didn't stop them? Did the dead people have driver's license? I just want to know how dead people are voting, sir.
I don't know, but I'd like to know how Joe Frazier, the world-famous boxer, I'd like to know how he cast his ballot in Philadelphia last week, because he was a great boxer, and somehow he's come back from the dead, and he voted last week in Philadelphia, amongst other names, too. Will Smith, the actor Will Smith, his grandfather died 6 or 7 years ago, but he cast a vote last week. How it happened, I don't know. We know that all across America in these Democrat-led cities that they're not letting the elections observers in afterwards. They're not being transparent as to how the results of the elections are being handled. They're finding jump drives and ballots all over the place in the middle of the night, which is very suspicious to me.
It is very suspicious to me as well. When we talk about the names, I'm sitting here across from Al Green. I don't think that's the man who sang Love and Happiness. So there may be multiple people. I'm from Philadelphia. There is a possibility there may be another Joe Frazier in Philadelphia. I'm just going out on a limb. So
there
now,
could be, there could be. But there's websites even in Virginia that you can go on. I looked for my father. My father passed away 2 years ago. I looked to see if he voted. I was surprised to see that he did not vote. But there's websites you can go on. You enter the person's name and the last four of their social and their birthday, and it will tell you their voting history, and it will tell you if you voted.
Okay. Now the time is 2:52. We have Mike Dickinson on. Mike, can you explain the process to us now? If the Republicans were in the White House and they had control of everything, and the president, who is in office now, told everyone to be suspicious, how do we get to this point and it's a mess in multiple states? So
Well-
how come if you knew that shenanigans were going to happen, how come you guys didn't have everything ready?
Well, I think President Trump had a lot of things ready, but the problem is that elections are ran by local. They're ran local. The United States, we didn't learn anything in 2000 when it was Bush v. Gore. We didn't learn anything from that. We never fixed the problem, which is that when you let the elections be administered locally, you get a lot of leeway and a lot of room for shenanigans.
Okay.
We didn't learn anything. We should have learned in 2000 after the election with Bush v. Gore. We should have made the actual, I guess, process of elections spelled out to the letter and administered by the federal government. Instead, it's administered locally, which means that local officials have a lot of control, and a lot of times these local politicians and local leaders they're quite frankly they're dirty, and they will try shenanigans and tricks, like the mayor of Philadelphia. I mean, the Supreme Court of the United States issued him a court order to segregate the ballots from before Election Day and after Election Day, and he told the Supreme Court, "I'm not listening to you."
Mike,
So they
can I
had to
ask you
issue
a
another.
question about Pennsylvania? How come a lot of this could have been hashed out the night of the election? How come the Republicans didn't want to at least start looking at the ballots before the day of the election so that we wouldn't have this problem this far after the election?
Well, if Philadelphia is anything like Richmond, I can't speak to Philadelphia, but I know in Richmond wouldn't tell anybody anything.
Wait a second. Can I just, so you can't talk about Philadelphia on one hand, but you just told me it was the most corrupt. Now, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Milwaukee, it seems to be a recurring theme here where the Republican side isn't happy with the election, the results of it. And on top of it, if the president was a patriot, you know what he would do? He would take this L and go ahead and go home instead of trying to burn down the republic on his way out the door. Do you agree?
I think that the most patriotic thing we can do is to make sure the election is fair and that's been administered honestly. I think the commonalities that you speak of are Democrat mayors and Democrat cities that cannot handle the administration of an election, just like they can't handle the administration of, the coronavirus. The message in
Hold on a second. Let me ask you about the coronavirus. What other job could a person have that you would lose $240,000 of something? If we worked at a candy manufacturing plant and they said Mike Dickinson lost 240,000 cases of M&Ms, does Mike Dickinson work there on Monday when we find that out on Friday? Do you?
I don't know. President Obama kept his job, and we lost a lot more when we had the H1N1 flu.
How many people died from H1N1?
I believe it was well over 300,000. I don't have the number right in front of me, but it was substantial.
Mike Dickinson, come on, man, stop it. Stop, sir. You know what? I wanted you to come on. I wanted this to be informative. You're going to tell me that we were sleeping when Obama presided over 300,000 people dying.
When the H1N1 flu hit, we had many, many more deaths, and the White House did nothing.
Okay, ladies, that is one point of view that Katina Moss is here ready to explode. it is funny that from a branding standpoint, the man who is a master deal maker, a master communicator, where has he been the last couple of days as the leader of the free world who says that there's rampant voter fraud, dead people voting, everything is on fire, and the leader of your organization, your party, the head of it, has been lost in Yonkers or somewhere. Speak on that, please.
Well, right now there's a lot of infrastructure. He's got to do a lot of behind the scenes.
Like what?
We're launching lawsuits.
So wait, let
me
me ask you. So is it more important for him to run the lawsuits or for him to govern the country?
I would think so, yes, because if he's lost, if Biden comes in, the country is going to change forever. It's going to be terrible. So I think right now President Trump's main priority, he's got to save the country and save America.
Okay, so he has to save America and the country from what?
From mass corruption. I mean,
mass
we
corruption.
know Joe Biden is one of the most biggest enemies of the American. He's a swamp creature. He's been in D.C. 47 years. He's going to put us all back into mass lockdown. He's going to take everybody's guns and their Second Amendment. It basically, I mean, you can see it too in some of the ways that the Democrats are tweeting, which is that right now they're, the whole the Democrat definition of unity is to, if you don't agree, you're some name, and if you don't agree, we're going to identify you and harass you and prosecute you. AOC tweeted that out last night. She said, we're going to identify Trump supporters and donors, and we're going to see to it that they don't get to work again. That's what AOC says.
Sir, you're talking about AOC, a congresswoman from New York. We haven't heard from Donald Trump since this happened, and everyone's surrogates are out there. So it's always spirited to talk to you about this. Let folks know how they could find Mike Dickinson. Oh, and you know what? They're looking at maybe 12,000 people died from H1N1, if that. 300,000 people didn't die from H1N1, so we really can just give that and you know it like I know it. That's why you chuckled. But
I'm gonna have to find that fact and let you know. They can find me. They can find me on Facebook at The Real Mike Dickinson, or they can go to my website, Vote Dickinson.
You are The Real Mike Dickinson. Hey, stay a friend of the program. There's always a microphone here. Hey, Mike, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this program has been outstanding. We ended up with Mike Dickinson with his, I'm not sure the information. Katina Moss is here with us. We'd like to thank Speech of Arrested Development for giving us that uplifting information. David from Belltower Pictures was here. Who else did we have? Oh, Sandra Wilson. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you.
WJFN Chester, 100.5 FM, 92.7 FM, and AM 820.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The Trump campaign has filed lawsuits in